All right, then I would like to welcome Mr. Gary Williams of Pedersen and Partners to this conversation. Gary, thank you so much for joining and taking the time out for this interview. We had short conversations before this on what really are we looking forward to from this conversation and actually make the most of Gary's time. Gary, it interests me, when I figured out that you are a global CEO sitting out of Thailand in Asia, on how do you actually manage the role? What are some of the experiences of managing a global role from Asia?
So when I first moved to Asia over 20 years ago, I think it served as a great foundation for me over the years to be prepared for this global role based in Thailand. I think, when I moved to Asia, it became quite clear that, I was going to need to learn a lot and, absorb a lot from the various, countries in Asia, the cultures, etc. So I think, the time spent understanding that every market is different, whether it's, culture, whether it's professional behaviors, ways of doing business, or even on a personal perspective, interacting with other folks. I moved to the global role in July 2019. It was really, really just that next step for me. I was used to working in global organizations. I really understood what it took to work with the various cultures. We have a large presence in Eastern Europe, which is very similar to Asia in terms of the way of doing business, etc. So for me, moving to this role, I think the key is engagement, and really, the fact that we don't, sit in a global headquarter really helps a lot. It really forces us to connect the dots and really work internationally in a cross-border manner. The biggest challenge has been, the time zones, dealing with various time zones, whether it's, US, LATAM, Europe, Middle East, Africa, from Bangkok is the biggest challenge. So it makes for a lot of long days, but they are rewarding days as well.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just hoping to God we see more global roles sitting out of Asia over a period of time. That would be my selfish perspective, given my own background of India. But Gary, I just want to broad base this conversation. In your role, you are required to observe leaders, leadership trends, and how that movement happens. In the last 2 years, one would imagine that every foreseeable, unforeseeable challenge has come through, so much so that some leaders say it would have been good to be in a VUCA world. Now, how are you seeing what qualities define the leadership of today?
Well, I think in the past, people often confuse strong management with strong leadership. Prior to the crisis, you typically had everyone working in offices, on site, etc. And management was a style that worked there. You had the people on site, you could control and direct them. But when the pandemic and the crisis came along, a different style of leadership, a different style was needed, not management, but leadership. And leadership is really leading from the front, setting an example. Leadership is really letting go and giving people their freedom, giving them, empowering them, and also holding them accountable as well. With freedom comes accountability also, but I think that the leadership style completely changed from downward, top-down management, on-site management, and directing to more leading from the front and helping people navigate.
Excellent. There is normalcy. We are seeing normalcy come back, but there is hybrid versions of everything. Hybrid workplaces, even hybrid education. Society per se has gone hybrid in that sense. Hybrid socializing even. Does that make a difference on how you advise people or how you're looking at some of the trends that you now define that emerged because of the pandemic, but will somewhere settle down as we hit normalcy?
Well, I think normalcy means different things to different people. I think everyone has an opinion as to, working in the office versus remote working.
Mm.
I personally think there is no single right answer for that, but I do not think we will go back to working full time in offices. I think it will be more of a hybrid approach, and particularly in emerging markets, our clients have seen, productivity increases due to the fact that people aren't, commuting 2 hours each way to work every day to the office. I also think the way people lead teams is going to continue evolving as well. And when you look at working environments, it's really going to be, people have tasted freedom, they've tasted empowerment and flexibility. I think leaders are going to need to be agile of that, and it's no longer black and white. It needs to be a system that works best for each organization, depending on their business culture, corporate culture, and the diversity of their teams.
All right, Gary. Since we have talked about this point already, I would just like to advance this part of the conversation. You mentioned in emerging markets, it's especially become more productive because when people are working from home, they save on time. What about leadership? Do leadership styles right now differ from market to market as well?
Look, I think obviously leadership styles need to be agile, okay? Because the way you lead someone in the United States is not necessarily the way you're going to lead someone in Indonesia or India, for example. So I think we need agile leaders moving forward. I think agility not only means how they lead, but how they adapt. And I think, it's been clear with the pandemic, we needed to pivot many times as leaders, right? I think now with all of you have the war in Ukraine, you have all the economic issues globally, agility, I think, is a key trait that leaders need. And that's agility in leading people, but also being able to pivot quickly. So speed is important as well in terms of those pivots of the business.
Yes, perfect. I appreciate that answer. Let's talk about the recruitment business a little bit right now. Any big high points or any milestones on how this changed very recently in the last couple of years, or how do you see it changing?
Well, I mean, in the past, we used to meet everyone face to face, right? And there was that level of engagement and trust that was built up immediately. Then it became more virtual, and people adapted to that. I think, look, what is happening now is, pre-pandemic, it was all about who is the best qualified candidate, who is the best manager for our business. And now it's becoming who is the right candidate, given our business, given the turmoil in the markets, and given the fact that we need leaders who can lead from the front, not just manage. So I do think that the leadership profile has changed. And, we even found that during the pandemic, a number of our clients were, really questioning what type of leader looks good for them now. And it's not just the best candidate, it's the right candidate. And it's really everything from values, behaviors, EQ, IQ, etc. I think also our clients, when they look for leaders, they are not looking for the same old thing in terms of the industry experience, etc. I think the pandemic really accelerated transformations. And as a result, clients are really looking for something new as they continue down their transformation journey, not the same type of leader they did in the past.
So Clients are looking for something new. One would imagine most businesses are at this moment. But do you sometimes come across examples where you feel some of the points that you just said, whether it's agility, ability to let go, let the teams run it and be accountable for it? Do you still come across senior leaders that you're trying to, work with or place in a position that have still not moved on from probably the pre-pandemic ways? Like, do you find yourself counseling people to change their ways?
Yeah, I think, look, not everyone's changed. And, that's just a reality. I think that traditional managers and leaders are still needed on the operational level. That's going to continue. But I really think when you're looking for the leader who's really leading from the front and really having the organization or function or department following them, I think those folks will need to change, because I think you've heard all the terms. You hear quiet quitting and all that sort of thing. With social media, it's exasperating that as well. The traditional manager will not work moving forward, in my opinion. It really needs to be that agility, that adaptability, the speed, and being dynamic and pivoting is very important. Perfect. For leaders now and in the future. Yeah.
Perfect. Time does teach a lot of things. So I'm guessing we will actually see more and more people moving towards these kind of traits that you've mentioned. I'm very curious how Pedersen and Partners is looking at the year ahead. First, just on a slightly broader base, you're a global company and you're trying to provide solutions to markets and solutions to organizations. Now, what exactly would you say are some of the benefits that you are bringing to the table today in comparison to some that are, not global in nature and more market rooted?
Well, I think we have a unique value proposition for the markets. I think even our competitors, our global competitors, really work office by office. We work as one global team. I think historically, and I think even today, executive search tends to be an individual sport. We focus on making it a team sport. So we have one P&L globally. When we work with our clients, it's not the smoke and mirrors between each office. We have on-the-ground resources in all of our offices. And the focus historically for us has been emerging markets. And we know how to operate in emerging markets because we have the teams on the ground. So our approach is really to bring the best team forward for our clients, which is the geographic expertise, the industry expertise, and domain expertise. And domains could be digital, board services, leadership consulting, global business services. So, when we partner with our clients, it's all about value and quality that we can bring to them. And as a team, we feel like we do that better than anyone else in the market.
I'm going to ask you about your India visit. Anything that stood out from that visit? What did you love about the India office, maybe, and the colleagues over there, or any changes that really got you excited about that part of the business?
Well, in India, look, it's an evolving market. I think historically, when clients have looked towards Asia, the default has always been a quick, answer into China. With the challenges occurring in China right now, that is no longer the default location for clients. It's a very important market globally, but it's given opportunities for India. So now when we speak with our global and regional clients, India is always a topic of conversation. So I think it's, India, it seems to be on a good trajectory right now and a steady trajectory. So if we can continue that way, I think the sky's the limit for India. And I met with a number of both multinational and local organization leaders in Mumbai during my last trip. And they are all very bullish on the market. And so are we. And we're committed to the market as well. We see that we will grow with our clients as a as they enter into India and for existing clients already in India. But I think with our platform, we will also be helping, Indian conglomerates and Indian companies expand expand globally as well. So, and that's where we're able to do that pivot. It's not just about helping, organizations grow in India. It's helping Indian organizations expand globally as well.
Brilliant, brilliant. Love that as an answer. Final question, believe it or not, we're almost coming to an end to this lovely conversation. Just give me a sense on areas of importance for Pedersen and Partners in the year ahead. Any broad areas where you look to invest more in?
Well, we're definitely, continuing to invest in the emerging markets. Mm-hmm. It's really about continue building the team to really bring that industry expertise to the table, continue to grow the local teams with that on the ground experience. And then from a service offering perspective, continuing to evolve our leadership consulting practice and board services practice, to be very complementary to our executive search practice.
All right, perfect. Gary, I appreciate all of your answers. Any final advice that you would like to leave behind, not just to, some of your colleagues in India, a lot of people who are definitely viewing this or, reading our magazines, any advice that you would like to leave out to them and to aspirants, people who are looking at the exec search and the consultancy business as a career option?
Well, that's really two questions, which I'll answer separately. So look, I think there's tremendous opportunity in India. We as a firm are committed to India, and we definitely see the growth and both in terms of capabilities, market, etc. The sky's the limit, we believe. I do think that resilience is something that we all need to, keep at the top of our mind, whether you're in an emerging market or mature market, because, as we've seen, it's been one crisis after another for the past several years. And, resilience is really needed, agility, and perseverance and commitment to make it through these. For our team in India, as I always tell them, we're in it to win it. So that's really, let's provide the value, quality, and behaviors in the market that our clients expect. And we value each of our client relationships and all the candidate relationships we have as well. And everything's really built on trust and respect, which for us is number one. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And then the second part of the question, people looking to get into executive search. Look, executive search is a great career. I've spent, most of my career in consulting, whether it's management consulting or executive search. I would say for the younger folks who are thinking about getting into executive search, you can make the most of it. You'll learn, different types of industries. You'll learn businesses. You'll be able to enhance your people skills, etc. And you'll be involved in an industry that's evolving as well. So I think for younger people that want to get in, this is a great career that offers flexibility, a lot of learning, and international experience as well. I think, look, no country, including India, is just, Indian companies taking that next step will need to expand globally, and they are, and we're seeing that. And I think with people in the markets, they have that opportunity as well. So the international experience that you'll be able to get will be quite useful as they progress throughout their careers as well.
That's great advice. That's great advice. Helps a lot of the young comers, especially because the way the trends have been and all the wars, talent war, resignation war. I don't know what all
Yeah.
we've been saying, but great advice. I have to thank you again. The special importance and your India answers. It just makes some of us feel important in the sense of the attention that India is getting and the growth opportunities here that continues to grow year on year. So I appreciate that answer very much. I loved your point about office by office and solving for offices. This kind of customized attention, I believe, is what helps recruitment or any businesses over the way forward. So I appreciate all of your answers. With that, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you for your time and for your advice and your answers, very candid answers. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.